That's me. And after almost 7 years of cubing, I finally competed in my first ever WCA competition. Let's see what happens. So I started off by walking in and picking up my name card, and oh, there's Max Park. Oh, and this is me struggling while I try to get the lanyard on. Then I practiced some 3x3 preparing for my first round, which starts right about now. So I find my name, put my cube in the cube cover, and here goes my first ever official WCA solve. So for some context, I usually average around 13 seconds for 3x3, but I've heard if you're in a competition, and especially if it's your first time, you're usually a little bit nervous and tend to do a little bit worse. So honestly, I'm just hoping for a sub 15 average and I'll be happy about it. And that ended up getting an 11. So that's a pretty decent first official solve if I do say so myself. And oh yeah, I was supposed to record what I got on the timer, but I just grabbed my camera and left for the first one. But anyways, we're off to a good start. Let's hope we keep this up. And on the second solve, I get another 11. And this time I do remember to record it, but it's upside down. So yeah, let's turn that around for now. And here's solve 3, finishing off with that sexy U-perm, and I get a 1036. Wow. So I'm actually getting way better times than I could have ever expected, which is surprising because I thought you're supposed to be nervous in a competition and do probably worse than if you're at home, right? Or at least that's what I expected. Oh, and I got a 12 here, which means I have at least 2 counting 11s in the average, which I'm already really happy about. But yeah, anyways, so actually I was nervous, especially in these first few solves, but I feel like it made me turn faster, which actually led to me getting better times. And oh, would you look at that, with the PLL skip on the last solve, and I get a 916. So I ended up placing 29th in round 1, which means I get to go to round 2, and turns out I got an 1131 average with a 9.16 best single. Then next up was my turn to do some judging. That was really fun actually. And oh, why is it so crowded here? It's just Max Park casually getting one of the best solves of the competition. Yep, nothing to see here. Anyways, next up was 4x4, and honestly I didn't really care much about this event and only started practicing about like a month or so prior to the competition, so I wasn't expecting much at all. And as you can probably tell already, I am definitely not the best at 4x4. I usually average around, I'd say 1 minute 10 seconds or so, and that's similar to the times I was getting when I was warming up. So honestly, I'd be happy if I could get at least 1 or maybe 2 sub 1 singles. So on the first solve, I immediately get a 101, which is pretty good, not gonna lie. And then on the second solve, this thing happened again where I was kind of nervous and actually turning really fast because of that. I was actually having pretty good look ahead and ended up getting one of the better solves in this average, 56.32. And then on solve 3, I get my best solve in this average and also accomplish my goal of getting 1 or 2 sub 1 singles, and that ended up being a 55-second solve. So I was already really happy and satisfied with my 2 sub 1 singles because that was my initial goal, and I was going for a third here and I did actually manage to get that. But I have no idea why I decided to use this algorithm because it's super slow on 4x4 and I lucked up a bunch. But hey, that's still a 58-second solve and I got 3 sub 1 singles in this average. And finally, solve 5, I finished off this average with a solid 101, which I ended up getting a 58-second average and a 55 best single, which I was really happy about, even though I did not make round 2, but that's okay. Then next up was 2x2, another event that I really did not care about but decided to sign up for anyways. I usually average around sub 5, so I was looking for a sub 5 average. And I am not on the right track after the first solve because I got a 506. By the way, I used the Ortega method for 2x2, which is not the fastest by any means, but I just really couldn't bother learning all the algorithms. Oh, and I get 5.0 exactly. Okay, I really need some good solves here or else I'm not getting that sub 5 average that I want. And on the third solve here, I get a 4.84, which puts me on the right track. I just need to keep it up. And on the fourth solve, I get a 493, which I'm okay with. Alright, I just really need a sub 5 solve on the last one and I should be good to go. Please, can I get a sub 5? And I get 549. So I was pretty disappointed to see that I got exactly 5.0 for my average. But hey, apparently that put me into round 2, which I was really surprised about. And next up was everybody's favorite event, lunch, where I smashed down a Chipotle bowl. And now we're back with 3x3 one-handed round 1. And again, this is another event where I really didn't care about that much. Okay, I should stop saying that probably. Well, what I'm trying to say really is that I'm not good at one-handed, like at all, because I literally learned how to turn a cube with my left hand one-handed like a month before the competition. And I think this is an event where you really need to spend a lot of time practicing and just getting used to turning one-handed and using the different finger tricks and learning new algorithms, especially for OH, which I didn't really do. And I actually started off really nicely with, well, a good time for me, I guess, 25.92. And I'm saying this is a good time for me because when I was practicing, I was getting closer to 35 to 40 second solves. So I was really expecting to just get like a sub 40 average, and now I'm getting 26 second solves, so that's really good. Also, another problem I think I have with OH is just having really awkward and ugly looking finger tricks, as you can probably tell. But hey, right here I get a really good solve, a 24. I'm super happy about that. And I have no idea what's happening with my camera at this moment, but I got another 25, and that's absolutely amazing. And just when I thought this average could not possibly get any better, just watch this last solve. Unbelievable. 23. So I ended up with a 25-second average, which is actually my all-time best for one-handed. Super proud of that. I have no idea what happened, honestly. Well, obviously I did not make round 2, but hey, I think I should practice OH a little bit more. It might have just became my new favorite event. Anyways, with that 11-second average for 3x3 earlier, I am on to round 2, and let's just say this was not a good round. Well, no, actually it started out pretty well with a 9-second solve, and then everything just kind of, well, I don't know what happened here either. Okay, just watch this solve right here. So it started off fine with normal F2L, OLL, and then I got to PLL and I messed up the algorithm. So now there's an F2L piece and OLL, so I did that, and then I did OLL, and then I did PLL, and I got a 19. Yeah, you can probably tell I was not really happy about that. And then this happened. So I got to have a different camera angle, and yeah, I kind of messed up again. On the cross here, which took me a little while, and well, it wasn't as bad as the last one, but it wasn't a good one either. Yeah. So I got a 15, and because of that 19 earlier, that means I now have a counting 50 in my average, which is not very nice. But I was just hoping at least I can get a sub 15 average. So I was just really hoping I get really good solves on these last two, and hopefully not screw up my average entirely. And even with a bunch of lockups on that one, I get a 13.5, which I'm okay with. And finally, we're on the last solve in this average, and I finished off with a 14. So I ended up with a 14.3 average, which is not the worst, I guess, but having a 9 and a 19 in the same average is actually wild. And finally, we have 2x2 round 2. Obviously, I didn't make finals for 3x3, and actually was surprised I even made round 2 for 2x2 in the first place, considering the bad average I have from earlier. So I was just trying to go for sub 5s every single solve and hopefully get a pretty decent average, hopefully sub 5 to make up for the round earlier. And I did actually manage to do so. As you can see, most of the solves are pretty much exactly 4.5, which I found pretty interesting. I think I had 4.5 solves exactly. And because I was pretty consistent this round, I ended up with a 452 average, which is pretty solid. And with that pretty much concludes the end of this video, and that was an incredible experience for my first ever WCA cubing competition. I had so much fun, and if there's one takeaway from this video, it would be that if you haven't competed in a competition yet and know how to solve a Rubik's Cube, definitely look for a competition in your area and sign up immediately. It is so much fun. And with that being said, thank you all so much for watching this video, and until next time, happy cubing!